right, guys, we got the CMB TNB here today to take a look at. This is a very interesting model, so let's jump into it. We're going to do some size comparison, profile comparison, we'll weigh the knife, and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. Let's go ahead and kick it off with some size comparisons. Here it is against the Kaiser October, and we also have the CJRB Prado. A couple more size comparisons here. You have it against the Para 3 lightweight and the Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight. So you can see this is a smaller knife. Let's check out that profile comparison. So you can see this is more in line with the Kaiser October and actually just a tiny bit smaller than the Para 3 lightweight as far as thickness goes. Let's check out that profile thickness. You can see just coming in a little bit thicker than that October, and we'll check it out against the Para 3 lightweight. Also, again, coming in a little bit thicker. I was a little surprised by that because it is nested liners. Let's check the weight. Okay, we got the scale out here. We're going to check the weight on the TNB. So coming in at 3.5 ounces, not bad. So a little bit higher on the weight than I thought it was going to be, and a little bit thicker than I thought it would have been with nested liners on here. Let's check the cutting out real quick. All right, let's see what this little guy is made out of. Just to sample it, see what it feels like. This is the 14C28N. Sorry, I forgot for a second. It feels like the factory edge is good enough. I'll definitely strop it up before I send it off to the next reviewer. Yeah, a little bit of a thicker geometry going through this cardboard for sure. I'll make sure and clean off any of the adhesive that I'm getting on here off, but it'll move through, and it cuts well enough, but it definitely feels like it has a little bit of a thicker geometry. Okay, so there you go, cutting done. We can't do the spine whack on this one because it is a pass around knife. Shout out to Kevin, thank you. If you don't know Lefty EDC, feel free to go over, check out his channel. Highly recommendable. Very entertaining content and a very cool guy to be able to be sharing these knives in the pass around group. He definitely doesn't have to do that. So we're going to start it off with a deep carry fold over pocket clip, not in the full deepest carry position, kind of like what you see from some of the Vosteeds. They centered it, which is cool, but they could have off centered it in my opinion and used that top bolt to get this one here as deep carry as possible. It is reversible, which is nice, no filler tab, but at this price point that is understandable. I like how they did the backspacer here. You got some ribbing here to help with some texturing. It doesn't do a lot, but it does help a little bit. And then you got a lanyard hole back here. That is really cool because they didn't really prioritize the pocket clip in my opinion here. What they did is they just didn't mount it low enough. Now ergonomically it is a 3-finger knife for me and it is comfortable. I do feel this pocket clip a little bit. It does kind of ramp up and you feel that it's there, but they did a nice job of chamfering and flattening it out so it doesn't poke a ton. Grippy G10, I really like the pattern and it does have texturing on the flat parts as well, so you're getting a real nice grip here, positioned really far back off of that button lock, so right-handed or left-handed you're not going to engage with it, which is a good thing because you do have a pocket clip here, as you can see, that does stand fairly proud in the locked out position. The button lock has almost no stick at all. I mean, very, very minimal. It almost feels like it's just gritty sliding off, but not dirty. Hopefully that makes sense. And again, this is a pass around, so maybe it does have some oil in there. I don't know how many people had seen it before me. Flipper tab is good for the push button, and it is good for the light switch, which I personally prefer, and it can be failed. So not strong enough spring in there to prevent failing it if you're going to try, but even if you hit it lightly and slide off of it, it does hold it enough in place for you to be able to get the momentum you need to lock it out into the locked out position. You do have just a little bit of jimping here, which is nice. I think for folks with a medium hand, medium to large, probably would enjoy this a little bit more. But if you like small knives, or if you're restricted by the size of the blade, this one here has got you covered because it is chunky. It is going to fill the hand out nicely so that you can complete some of those cutting tasks that you might need to do. As you saw down in the garage, a little bit of a more medium-ish geometry. It does cut well, but it does get thick fairly quick. It's not a super thick blade stock. It's just the geometry doesn't carry up very nicely, so you can feel it dragging a little bit when you're going through some of the thicker material here. 14C 28N continues to underwhelm me personally. I prefer 154 CM, VG10, and RPM 9 all seem to hold an edge better than what you see from 14C and Nitro V, with the trade-off being that these are tougher steels, so they're going to be less prone to any sort of major chipping or anything like that. They're just not going to keep that razor sharp edge as long. That doesn't mean that they won't be sharp, and you won't be able to cut most things even when they lose their acute edge. It just means they're not going to hold a razor sharp edge and a working edge as long as those other steels. So that is why I do prefer them. And I know that there's been the controversy with RPM 9, so I'm going to do a separate video here in a little bit because that is why I brought the Prado out. But for me, RPM 9 is a really good performer. Overall, really nice knife. Very well done. The build quality is there, the action is there, the functionality and everything feels good. The design is okay. For me, it's a little small personally, but that doesn't mean it's not a good knife. And if you like this size of knife or you have smaller hands, that this isn't going to work for you. The most interesting thing about this CMB is right now on Amazon, when I'm looking it up, it's coming in at under 60 bucks. So very competitive in that genre of knife for the price and quality that you're getting here. The ceramic bearing action, very good, and the sounds are pretty good. Has a very solid sound to it, doesn't feel very cheap to me at all. So pretty cool design here. It is a Hoyer design, so I'm not familiar with the designer, but the overall design of the knife is pretty nice, and I like the little extra touches here that you get in that G10. For $60, you can certainly look at the Prado that I had out here earlier from CJRB. The Hector is going to be really good as well. Some of the Kaisers that are out there that are good are going to be Drop Bear, which is going to get you that 154 CM. Going to be a little bit more expensive, but I do like the steel a little bit better. The Civivi steels that have that VG10 Damascus, I like those better than the 14C and Nitro V. Again, prefacing that I like the edge retention. They are tough enough. They're not going to chip very easily. You're going to have to really bully them and abuse them for them to chip, and they're going to be just as easy, in my opinion, to maintenance as the other steels. Overall, though, I like it. It's a good price point, and the build quality is definitely there. I appreciate you guys hanging out to the end of this video. It does support the algorithm. If you enjoyed, definitely head down there and leave a like. If you're new, definitely consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along. I want to give a special shout out and thanks to those channel members out there. Your continued support definitely helped this channel in a big way, and I appreciate that. I love you guys. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.